I have now just really quick to show you some quick charts about what are the most popular or the most used open source technologies. We'll go by category, and starting with kind of infrastructure, the top open source infrastructure, and then on the right the Linux distributions. Obviously CentOS, because its end of life went down, but you could see that there's a large variety of technologies. And on the left, on the infrastructure side, I mean, there's so many more, right? But we just listed there the top ones for organizations consider them that they use them, right? Most used open source software infrastructure. Cloud native, that's obviously now an important category. A ton of projects. I am actually not familiar with all of them. I don't know if you probably know all of them, Steph.
Of course.
But you can see, I mean, they keep growing. I mean, this is an important. Actually, I had to say, yeah, only OpenStack had a decline.
Yeah.
All the others definitely grew. Although I went and checked again, and yes, OpenStack is still heavily used in the telecom industry and some of the other industries. That hasn't changed. Yeah, I mean, some of you might be surprised with some of the names there, but or maybe they're new to you, but yeah, they are actually getting popularity. Programming languages, you want to guess? JavaScript, Python, Node.js, Java, of course, right? And you can see on the table there by the size of the organization, JavaScript, Python, and Node.js.
Yeah, here it's nice to see the different Javas breakdown.
We had those runtimes there, so the OpenJDK, OpenJ9, we included those as well. There's a mistake. I'm sorry there. It's C#, not C+. After Go. That's C#. Frameworks, JavaScript frameworks, Java frameworks. Those lead the way for sure. .NET, still heavily used, and I shouldn't say still, it's heavily used. And then things like TensorFlow and PyTorch there, right? So that means that people are working on AI.
I was noticing that.
Yeah. TensorFlow, I thought PyTorch was a bit more used than TensorFlow, but these are the numbers from our respondents. I'm a good friend of one of the initial contributors or original writers of the Laminas. He was very happy to see Laminas there. That's a PHP framework. And then data technologies. I mean, the takeaway for me is that there are so many, and there are even more coming, right? So long gone the days of you have to go with a traditional relational database.
Interesting to see here OpenSearch and Elasticsearch, the distance between the two.
It's shortening. For people that are not familiar with OpenSearch, is the fork from Elasticsearch after they changed their open source license, right?
Right. Technically, they're not open source anymore.
Exactly.
Like Mongo.
And people might remember the restriction that they put in on their license for hosting, right? Which technically, now you're limiting.
Limiting usage.
And
forcing, and forcing to ask for permission, which is exactly counter to the principles of open source.
Are they requesting permission? Asking for, is that?
Well, before you can use it, you have to ask permission. Like, hey, I'm going to use it for this specific use. Is this something you allow or not?
I didn't know that. All right. Yeah. Well, so we had to include them because kind of it's part of the ecosystem, but obviously we go with OSI's guidance in terms of the definition of open source, of course, and the proper definition of open source software. A couple of more charts there quickly. Some of the tooling for development. One thing that I notice here is, and perhaps that's something that we mentioned on the report. Perhaps the Log4j vulnerability last year had an impact in terms of people start using some private repositories, to safeguard some of that. So we saw that Nexus and Artifactory growing significantly compared to last year, and obviously you see some popular testing tools and other things there. There's so many, right? It's really hard, but these are like the most used, the ones that people selected the most on the survey. Automation and configuration technologies. There are also many options there. I was a bit surprised to see KubeSpray and QADM, right? So we're very much into the cloud native ecosystem there, and just like that, CI/CD tools as well, the Spinnakers and the JenkinsX and the Tekton, which are kind of cloud native, native to Kubernetes, growing significantly.